what happens to the neocortex when you increase that number to, say, 21,400? And hi everyone, my name is Stormi the Folf, and well, have you ever wondered why popular furries don't always respond to messages? Maybe they forgot about the message. Human error is the thing. Or maybe Twitter's having technical difficulties. Or maybe they had to run some errands. Or maybe they had to go to work. Or maybe they're doing some like really important boring stuff. Like investing in the stock market. But in all seriousness, everything I just said could happen to literally anyone regardless of your popularity. Whether it be in the furry community or in the Minecraft community, it doesn't really matter. Everyone has responsibilities, whether it be going to work, school, chores, relaxing, or just sleeping. I need to do more of that. I'm not very responsible. And replying with, "Ooh, you're no fun," ain't the best idea if your friend is really busy with something like doing commissions. In a perfect world, everything would level out and we'd be able to communicate with each other sans restriction. But unfortunately, we don't live in one. Yet. We're all leading complex lives, and with different needs, we need to be more patient with each other once in a while. Some of us do anyway. I am guilty of doing this, which we'll get into in a little bit. To understand this, we need to understand loneliness and popularity, two extremities of a social scale. In a stage of extreme loneliness, your true friend pool is 0. I don't think anyone's gonna argue with the fact that being lonely friggin' sucks. You feel disconnected from the world, basically. Maybe you're the only furry in your city, or perhaps maybe you feel like you're the only person on Earth. You feel lonely everywhere you go, even in big crowds, or with those who sympathize with you. It's a valid feeling. Okay, when I was younger, I had very few friends. I was what you might call a loner or antisocial. We didn't have the internet too often, and I was always so afraid to talk to people outside of a computer screen, so I just mainly kept to myself. Sometimes I felt purposely ignored without taking into account that my internet friends may have other friends, responsibilities, homework, or even a job. It didn't help that most of my best friends at the time were on the internet, and half the time I had no internet. It was like being in the dark ages. It just made me really angry, confused, and I just felt pretty hopeless. Honestly, I lived a very lonely life until about 6 or 7 years ago. And looking back at it now, I felt like a big jerk for yelling at everyone on MySpace for ignoring me. I always wanted attention. I made myself look like a clown. Making friends was, and honestly still is, a learning experience for me. But one day, let's say you finally make a true friend, someone who can fully understand and relate to your quirks, and you feel awesome. Going from like 0 friends to 1 friend is probably one of the toughest hurdles you'll ever face. But no matter what struggles you went through to make it happen, you are 100% valid and you should feel proud of yourself, excluding some criminals or something. And after a while, you make another friend. Now you have 2. However, your schedules don't exactly line up. One friend works the night shift at a restaurant, but otherwise you have at least 1 friend to hang out with once in a while. This may not seem like a problem at first, but as you start to make more friends, it becomes very difficult to connect with everyone on a regular basis. This effect is heavily pronounced when you're popular. You're up against a unique set of variables and metrics that many people simply don't take into account or are just totally unaware of. Alternatively, you may find yourself going through phases where friends come and go. You may be figuring out who you are and find the people you surround yourself with aren't the crowd you want to be around anymore. It may be time to make some new connections. Be brave and be prepared to step out of your comfort zone once in a while. The world is a big place and there's always plenty of opportunities to make new friends. And of course, in case you didn't know, a Popufur, short for popular furry, is a furry that you consider to be one with a relatively large following. Its meaning is totally subjective. Popular people tend to get a lot of attention. They're often in the public eye. And what happens when you get all that attention? You get lots of messages from every social media website that you are registered to, at least in my experience. And what happens when you can't respond to all those comments and messages? Enter emotional bandwidth. Those of us on planet Earth are entitled to 24 hours each day, and we have to budget them according to competing needs and wants. You obviously need sleep, you obviously need to drink and eat, eat, you need to go to work or school, come home, maybe talk to a few friends, and you may care for a family member or have to walk the dog or play some Minecraft, then go to bed. When you have multiple friends, you'll discover that your relationships with them demand time and emotional investment on your part. If it sounds strange, just ask yourself 2 questions. Can they call you their friend if you never talk to each other? Never as in literally never, period. And can they call you their friend if you don't care about them? And the answer to both of those are no, of course not, at least in my opinion. That goes against what a friendship really is. For example, one of my best friends stays so wrapped up in his work in college that we might only message each other a few times per year. We both fully understand that prior obligations come first. Despite that setback, he's still one of my best friends no matter what. I mean, we could pick up a conversation from 6 months ago like it was yesterday. So, did you see the new Pokemon movie?
Yeah, I saw it 6 months ago.
Man, has it been that long? But if you're lonely, again, it friggin' sucks. If you have no friends, running into someone you can relate to, and even the slightest, can feel amazing. But if there's no friendship, you're back to square one. Now, if you do have a few or perhaps several friends, you may discover that it's, again, harder to keep track of things. But what happens when you have hundreds of friends? That's where something called Dunbar's number comes in. Now, this is a suggested cognitive limit to the number of people one can maintain a stable relationship with. The most commonly cited value is approximately 150, although it empirically ranges between 100 to 250. It's important to note that this number is going to be different for everyone. Now you might be thinking, whoa, 150 friendships? That's a pretty big number, but what happens to the neocortex when you increase that number to say 21,400?
Oh god, I forgot my friend's birthday! What am I gonna do?
Hey, so does anyone remember Stormi's name?
I don't know.
We are so screwed!
Okay, so maybe it's not that bad, but needless to say, it can get a bit overwhelming. Try as you may, but for most people, coordinating thousands of conversations 24 hours a day simply isn't possible. Even if you could somehow go Zawarudo, basically freeze time, to respond to each person who wants to talk to you, at that scale, pretty much anyone would find it difficult handling that much new information and responding to each person with an authentic emotional connection. Adding insult to injury, our geeky furry community largely consists of shy introverts. And for the record, I sort of consider myself an introverted extrovert. While our minds are pretty good at avoiding short-circuiting behaviors, they tend to achieve this by sacrificing precision. In the case of a Popufur, and I'm not saying all popular furries are like this, what happens is they tend to focus on their existing relationships, as well as the occasional collab with another furry, because our brains literally cannot handle the thousands of people's needs and wants. Instead of a fire hose, it just turns into white noise. And in spite of Dunbar's number, the cognitive limit, many popular furries try very hard to respond to as many people as they can. Now, I say many as in, I don't know if all popular furries do that. Like, I obviously can't interview every single subjectively popular furry in the community, but this is something that I believe personally. They answer as many people as meaningfully and as heartfelt as they can. And if you find yourself in a similar position, remember, it's just not possible to please everyone. I have to tell myself this like every other day, and I get frustrated because I consider myself a really fast typist, but like for every message I reply to, there's like 10 more in its place, and it's like a race I can't keep up with, and that's just the joys of being a human. We're not machines. I am not a machine. I am not the Storminator. And again, this is not a popularity exclusivity. You can be overwhelmed by like family, friends, and other people just trying to reach out to you all at the same time because everyone's schedules just like boom, collided. I have days where I'm running errands and taking calls non-stop. And I just want to scream when I have days like that because I can only do so many things at once, but yeah. If you find yourself on the opposite end of the scale, like you feel like you can't make any friends, you are still 100% valid, and you will find friends sooner or later. Don't give up. And I know it might seem silly that I'm making a video on this topic myself, but I really do love talking to as many people as I can in this community. I really do want to help everyone. I reply to comments whenever possible. Everything I do, right down to video production and research, is just all competing with my time. I forget to eat sometimes, but yeah. If you found this video at least a little helpful, give it a like, maybe leave a comment, and let me know your thoughts. If I said something that's incorrect, point that out too. Also, subscribe and please share with your other furry friendos. Anyway, take care of my fluff butts, and I'll see yas all next time. Bye!